Hello everyone. Today in this video, we're going to learn how to use Vim. I'm going to show you how to customize with themes, add plugins, and much more. Are you ready to start editing fast? Have you ever wanted your website to load fast? Well, DigitalOcean and cPanel are great solutions for your web hosting needs. Affiliate links can be found pasted in the video description down below. So before we get started, we will actually have to install a package manager onto our system if you're using macOS. If you're using Linux, then you would just have to install Vim straightforward from here. To install brew, head on over to brew.sh and paste in the command from below. This should install the package manager for macOS. And to use brew to install Vim, you would just type in brew install Vim. So since I have Vim already installed, this is what I'm going to get. But for you, this might take a little more of a minute. Alright, so now we can actually get started and edit files with Vim. So for this example, I'm going to be creating a C++ file so that we can run it and execute it under Vim. And to do that, we're just going to type in Vim, and we're going to create a random C++ file. So just name it anything you want. I'm just going to name it sample.cpp. Alright, so since we're just creating a new C++ file, it's obviously going to show us nothing. And to actually start typing in information on the file, you would just press the letter A, and this will put us into a mode called insert mode, as seen on the bottom left corner of the screen. So insert mode is actually going to let us edit the file and start modifying it as much as we want. So once you see this, once you see the insert mode activated, you can actually just start typing in letters onto the file. And to disable insert mode, let's say if you don't want to edit the file anymore, you would just type in escape, and now insert mode is turned off. To turn it back on again, just type in the letter A again, and now we're back on. Turn it off, escape, press A, turn it on. You'll get the point. So now, since we actually want to start creating a tiny C++ program, let's just type in the basics. So, let's see, include IOStream. Let's put a namespace, std, and main. And I forgot to mention that to navigate with Vim, you can use the arrow keys, which I do recommend for beginners. If you have seen tutorials on Vim before, you can navigate up and down, left and right with the keys H, J, K, L, but that's beyond the scope of this guide for beginners. So we're just going to be using the arrow keys for now. And to type in a program that we can execute, let's just type in something simple. So let's see, we're just going to type in hello world. Okay, now for the important part here, since now after we finish the file, we want to save and exit in order to run the program. So to do that, let's first save the file. And so to save a file, we actually have to escape and disable insert mode. And to turn off insert mode, like we just said, we would press the escape key. So now insert mode is turned off. And you would just type in :W. W is to write out the file. So W is to save the file. And now the file has been saved. If you actually just want to save the file and quit the program, you would type in :WQ. So WQ means it's going to save the program and it's going to exit Vim. But since we already saved the program, all we have to do is we just want to exit the program now. So to just exit the program, we just type in colon Q. Q means quit. So we're just going to quit. And now we're going to execute our C++ program through the terminal. So to do that, we're just going to type in G++, which is our compiler, and the name of the file that we edited. So obviously it was sample.cpp. So just press enter. And now we just compiled it. And to execute the program, just type in /a.out. As you can see, the file that we edited with Vim was successful. It outputted hello world, which is what we typed in with Vim. So now we're going to show you the configuration file that Vim uses to set up everything. So this Vim RC file is basically the settings page for our application. So Vim RC basically sets everything up, like how the theme is, how it reacts, and it's basically like a settings page, preference page for our text editor. So to open up the vimrc file, we just type in vim.vimrc. And at first glance, this does not look very easy to understand, which is completely understandable, because it definitely is a lot of stuff that's written down here and stuff, and it basically can scare off a lot of newcomers to using Vim. So all I have done is just open the file with Vim, and I'm just going up and down through it with my arrow keys, in case you're wondering. So let's start from the top, and let's go all the way to the bottom. So Vim is much more usable when we install plugins, and plugins are basically these little programs that we install onto Vim, which adds more functionality. So let's say if we want to add an extra theme, a plugin would be able to do that. And if we want to add more color highlighting, like let's say we were editing that C++ file not too long ago, if we want to see more colors, then the plugin would help us do that as well. So this line of code right here is basically giving us it's gonna install our plugin manager, and the plugin manager is basically like a tiny program implemented inside Vim that will configure all of our plugins without us having to do any work on the back end. So this snippet of code right here, which I labeled right here, Vim plugin automatic installation, installs the Vim plugin manager for us. So don't worry, if you don't want to create this on your own, I definitely have a file you can download from my GitHub page, and you can just use the same one as I have if you like this configuration I have. So right here, this will install the plugin manager automatically, and this will just basically start it by itself. And now here's the simple stuff. So here are all the plugins that I'm using. As you can see, I am only using 4 plugins. And so let me just show you guys right here. So I am using the CPP Enhanced Highlight. So this basically adds more color to when you're editing C++ files. And this one called Vim Color Schemes, it basically adds more color schemes to your text editor. Close tag. This is when you're editing in HTML. So let's say you're opening up brackets and stuff. It actually closes the brackets for you, so you don't have to do too much work for yourself. And I think this is my favorite one to use. It's called Nerdtree. So Nerdtree basically opens up the file hierarchy inside Vim without having to open up your file manager, which is like probably like Finder for Mac OS, Nautilus for Linux, and etc. And so with Nursery, you would just to activate it. I actually set up the key binding myself. To activate Nursery, I picked Control plus N. So if I type in those key bindings, as you can see, this opens up my home directory of my computer. So I can actually browse through my files really simply. So I have all these files I can just go through left and right. And so let's say you open a Nursery. To exit out of Nursery, we just type in escape. And remember what :Q does? It basically just exits out of that little window that we opened. So yeah, now we're back to normal. And if you guys definitely don't have to know all of this. This is just like yeah, this is basically really advanced stuff. You can just use my file and it would basically just like set up everything for you. And so one last thing before I exit out of this file is right here where it says Colo Molokai. Colo basically means that we're setting the theme, the color scheme for our Vim editor. And Molokai is my favorite theme. There's so many themes out there, you can choose whichever you want. So I'll show you like a brief example of how to change the theme right from your editor. So you would just type in colon and type in Colo, press space, and then you would just skim through the themes with the tab key. So tab, 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 tab. There's a lot of themes. Tab, 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 tab. I'm just gonna choose a random one. So let's say we want something like light default. As you can see, now we have light default enabled, and it turned off Molokai, of course. So obviously, I don't really like this theme. And if we change it through the colon, if we change it like this, it's only temporary. If you want to make it permanent, okay, so to change the file, obviously we want to be in insert mode, so you press A and you just edit the file, and you type in whichever the name of the color scheme you want. Yeah, you just have to actually you have to Google and see which ones you want. I'm not sure what your guys' preferences are for this. So yeah, and one more note here. So let's say we actually accidentally edited the file, but we don't want to save changes to it, right? We like kind of made a typo, and we do know we made a typo. In order to exit the file without saving, all you have to do is just type in Q. And we're not typing W. W saves the file, and we do not want to save the file. To exit without saving, we just type in Q, exclamation mark. An exclamation mark tells the program that, hey, we did edit the file, but we do not want to save it, of course. So after you type this out, just press enter, and it will not save any changes. So if we actually scroll back down, as you can see, we still have Molokai right there. So we didn't save the file at all. Finally, I am going to show you how to use the plugin manager for Vim. So let's say you want to install more functionality, such as adding syntax to your text. Then simply installing a plugin will probably solve that problem in a snap. So I'm just going to show you a quick example of how to install any plugin. So once again, we're going to be editing the vimrc file. So let's open that file again. And for me, I like organizing my my settings. So obviously right here where the cursor is blinking, this is where I have all my plugins in one spot. So I'm going to be installing a plugin called Syntaxtics. Sorry if I couldn't pronounce that right. There's an awesome website that you can actually go to, and it has a list of plugins that you can play around with and see which one will work best for you, which one will make you code more efficiently. which is again vimawesome.com. So let's open that website. So as you can see, there's if you go to the main page, there's a lot of information here, so you can install all these plugins. So one of the top plugins, if you scroll up to the top of the page, is one of them is Nerdtree, which is what I use. It does look very appealing when you're trying to look through all your files and can't find that one program that's driving you nuts, basically. So let's install this one called Syntactics. And so for us, since we're using Vim plug, which our plugin manager, we just click on this tab right here, and you would just basically copy this. We're just gonna paste this into our RC file. Oops. And so once you copy that, let's go back to the terminal. And so to copy and paste in Vim, there's a lot of variations to it. But if you copied from your clipboard, not inside Vim, I'm sorry if this is really confusing, but it would just still be the same key binding. So for me, I'm using macOS, so we just type in to copy and paste. It would just still be the same. You just type in Command V, and you paste it in what you copied from your clipboard. And to install this plugin, let's just save and exit the file and open it again. And now we're gonna type in colon, and make sure you have the capitalization correct. We actually have to capitalize P, plug install. Make sure you type it in exactly like this. There's no other way around. So once you type this out, just press enter. As you can see right there, this was highlighted green, which was installing our new plugin, Syntactics, and it did install it 100%. All the 1,589 files have been downloaded correctly, and it's been installed. And to close this window it's been opened up on the left hand side of the window, just type in :Q. We exited, and again to exit the file. And thank you for watching. So this was a quick tutorial on how to use Vim, how to customize, adding themes, using a plugin manager to install plugins to add more functionality onto the text editor. So yeah, if you like more of these type of videos, please check out my other videos on my channel. They're quite similar to this. You'll definitely enjoy as much as this. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later.